Hi there. Hello again. Good morning. Uh, so, I guess part two of my introduction video. Let's talk about love, man. That's where it's at. If you break all human motivation down to its basest elements, uh, I have this feeling you're gonna find two things: love and fear. The things that motivate us, the things that uh, I guess hide behind our actions and our words are the ideas of spreading and sharing love and soliciting fear. So when you act out of love, it's a very wholesome thing. You feel really good about it. You know you're taking care of other individuals, and by taking care of other individuals, you're taking care of you. At the same time, when you act out of fear, it's kind of a hollow emotion. It doesn't feel quite right. You feel like you're separate from everybody else. When you're sad, you're afraid nobody cares. When you're angry, you're afraid somebody's going to get hurt. When you are stressed, you're afraid you're not going to meet that deadline. It's all fear, man. That's all of these negative emotions that exist in this world. It's all fear-based. So I have this theory, and this goes in kind of a biblical context, so just keep that in mind. That's a lot of my background, so that's going to be a lot of my frame of reference. But in my personal belief, God is love. God created all of this stuff: thoughts, feelings, emotions, my physical body, the world around me, everyone else. So looking at this in another way, all of this is also made of what? It's energy. Everything in this world, everything in this reality is made of energy in different compositions. So science tells us we can measure energy, and I promise I'll get back to the love part. It all ties in. Light, heat, sound, it doesn't matter what form the energy takes, it's all wavelength. So when you experience ups and downs in this life, you are literally experiencing the manifestation of wavelength, my friend. It's totally natural. It's a part of life. It's just part of that ebb and flow. So what you can take from that is that if everything is made of energy and your wavelength is kind of a manifestation of you and your experience, you can affect that in positive or negative ways based on the actions and reactions that you have to your environment. So when I act out of love, I am actually raising my vibration. I am exposing myself and the people around me to a more positive wavelength. When I act out of fear, I'm actually lowering that vibration. I'm suppressing it and its natural wonderfulness and glory. And I'm suppressing the other people around me too. So what we'll find, and what I found to be true, is that if, like in the Bible it says, we are created in His image, in the image of God. Well, doesn't that make us creators? You think about a sandwich. You can manifest that sandwich. You can create that sandwich for yourself. So we are third-dimensional beings. Tied into a reality that experiences more than 3 dimensions. So when we think about something, it's really hard to just like conjure a sandwich from thin air, but we can physically make that sandwich. And that's kind of the distinction there, you know. Most people think that magic is just being able to conjure something from nothing, but we can touch on those topics later. For right now, we'll focus on being in the third dimension. So math calls the 3 dimensions that we have and experience length, width, and height. Excuse me. And the fourth dimension has been debated, but they think that it's time. So, being third dimensional beings, we don't experience time on the way that a fourth dimensional being would experience it. We experience it in a linear pattern. We think past, present, future is just kind of how that works. But really, all time is touching all points at the same time. That's where energy comes in. Energy does the same thing. Energy can travel great distances. Think about a phone call to somebody. For a physical example, think about prayer. Prayer can travel long distances too. It's just directed energy, just directed intention. So, what I'm getting at with all of this information that I've just given, I'll tie it up in a nice little package for us. So, if God is love, and He created everything, and we are made in His image, it means that we're able to create things too. And if He is and created love, then how does fear exist? Well, I don't believe God created fear. I think He allowed us to create that. And it's also important to note, fear is not the opposite of love. Fear is the absence of it. So, like, cold is not the opposite of heat, it is the absence of heat. Darkness is not the opposite of light, it is the absence of light. So is fear the absence of love. So, when you are so afraid to trust, when you are so afraid to love and appreciate someone, or yourself for that matter, you actually don't leave a whole lot of room for there to be love. You're actually pushing it away from you. It's also true from my experiences, books I've read and talking to people, that what you put out into the universe, you get back. So when you act out of love, you're going to receive more of the same. When you act out of fear, it's going to be a vicious cycle. You ever heard somebody, or have you ever been in the position where you wake up, stub your toe first thing in the morning, it's going to be one of those days? Well, of course it is, because you believe it's going to be one of those days. You're manifesting that reality for yourself. So, what I want to bring into people's awareness is that you can start changing your reality for the better right now, just by being more conscious of your thoughts. What you think about, you bring about in a myriad of ways. There's so much that we have power and control over, and yet we see ourselves as powerless. If I told you that the only thing you can definitely control in this life is your perspective, how does that ring for you guys? Does it ring true? Does it register as false? Does it make it sound like I'm a crazy person? Maybe so. But keep in mind that you're allowed to take this with a grain of salt, that you can go at your own pace with absorbing information. There's no race. It's not a human race. The human mindset is not a condition. We just have been kind of asleep. We've been kind of brainwashed into believing a lot of negative thought patterns and beliefs about ourselves. And so I want to inspire you to challenge your perspective today, because your perspective is everything. You know, you think, it's just my perspective. No. Your perspective controls so much. If I believe I'm going to have a good day, I will have a good day. Even if something that someone else would consider bad happens to me, I can spin that in a positive light and take something good from it. Remember, good and bad are subjective too. Now, I'm going to let y'all go so I don't make super, super long videos, but I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a wonderful day, okay? Love y'all. Bye.